Morning and welcome back to Coaching Conversations. I'm Maria Sabio.
And I'm Lourdes Laper. Stay with us right to the end for some practical practices you can start using right away.
So today we're talking about the silent thief of your time and potential. You know that feeling you're working on something important, then you get sucked into checking social media or YouTube and you start comparing your life to a curated highlight reel or maybe just drifting through your day on the path of least resistance. And you're busy, but you don't feel useful. You're scrolling, but you feel purposeless.
Yeah, it's a deep existential ache, isn't it? I hate when that happens. We get
Definitely.
sidetracked by the noise, the competition, the comparison, and maybe even the judgment of others. We look at everyone else's lane, get lost in that reverie, and forget our own. And the cost is huge. It's a fragmented life where our energy is spent on performance instead of purpose.
So today we're going to try to cut through all of that noise with a powerful mandate for freedom. Don't get sidetracked by what everyone else is doing. Focus on your own path, what life asks of you, what your nature calls you to do, and serve the greater good with your best effort. And this isn't just about hard work, it's about really alignment and being centered.
Yeah, your unique path is already wired into you. Your job isn't to copy or compete, it's to look straight ahead and answer one question: what's mine to do right now? And, comparison is such a sneaky thief. My dear friend Anne says, compare and despair. And it's so true. We look at other people's curated life, what they choose to share and let us see their success, their travel, their perfect routine. And suddenly, our own life and work feels small, pointless, and inadequate. And we trade the quiet fulfillment of our own assignments for the noisy frustration of trying to keep up.
Yeah. And here's that negative or toxic self-talk that really starts to fuel that comparison. We start saying things to ourselves like, my purpose is to be exceptional and admired. And if I'm not winning, I'm failing. And this belief forces you to prioritize approval over your honest effort, turning your path into someone else's highlight reel. But the stoic truth is your job is simply to serve the common good with your best effort, not to win the attention or approval or acceptance of the crowd.
Yeah, we live in such a celebrity culture, right? And so we're kind of trained into this thinking that I have to be all of that in order to be okay, to be enough. And that and then we start the comparisons and the looking at other people's lives, and that feeds a
Hmm.
feeling of inadequate. I know for me, this is something that I definitely struggled with. Um, but when we're able to look at our lives and our purpose, what we're really here to do, it really is freeing, like you just said. And so this will hopefully help others kind of shift a perspective in terms of, all right, what am I being guided,
Hmm.
right? A
Right.
desire to you know, win and be approved of and get attention? Or am I living my purpose? Am I, you know, being of service? Right?
Right.
Add anything there, Maria?
No, no. Well said. Well said. I mean, I just think about the people that are famous for being famous, right? And all of these shows that we have now, these reality TVs, and it's it's really insane that so many people want to follow the footsteps of these, celebrities that are just famous for being famous, for creating chaos, for having chaos in their lives, in their marriages, and it's like it's really gone nuts. How what our desires are, we've fallen off the track of purpose and the principles of being part of the greater good. It's more of, let me just be famous regardless of what I have to do. And so it is toxic. It is
Mm,
toxic.
yeah, yeah. And then, another issue is impulse control, right?
Mhm.
We know we should be using our rational mind, but we let fleeting cravings and comfort run our day. We're
Mhm.
designed to be rational beings, but often find ourselves running on pure impulse, seeking, only comfort and ease when we know that that is not a path for growth.
Right. And again, that's that core, that belief that you have to follow the path of least resistance and greatest comfort. And that's the reason you're not, in my opinion, the reason that you're not achieving what you're capable of. You're giving your power to impulse to stay in that comfort, and to that comfort zone and that ease, instead of your higher self. Fulfilling your role means giving in to your not giving into that comfort zone.
Mm, yeah, and so let's, you know slow down and look at the emotional root of this distraction and comparison. When we're confused about our own role, which it's easy to do, to get confused about our own role, we look we look to others for direction. And this happens because, often deep down we fear that our own unique path isn't enough, that maybe we're not enough, and that our unique contribution is too small, too ordinary, too simple, right?
Right. It becomes or it is a core fear that we really need to start to challenge, because we have to challenge the part of us that says, if I stay in my lane, if I do my own thing, then I'll miss out on my destiny. And this is really an illusion that we have, because your unique role is your destiny. It's the only place you can ever really find true fulfillment. You're not a robot built for someone else's approval. You're a human being designed to serve, to grow, to nurture, to give, to love, and do meaningful work. And as they say, and you probably heard this, be yourself, because everyone else is taken.
Mm, yeah, yeah, I absolutely love that. And just the idea
Mhm.
of doing meaningful work, right? I'm at a point in my life where I get to do work that feels really meaningful, really filled with purpose and mission and, being of service. And I've spent so many years, just kind of trying to fit into, um, a way of being that wasn't authentic to myself.
Mhm.
um, the universe is unfolding, putting things in our paths, and our unique purpose is, it's not a grand idea that we have to invent. It's the sum total of the tasks, duties, experiences that we've had. And then right here in this moment, it's all gets combined with our best effort.
Right. I think that, the Stoics like to do this. They like to zoom out and zoom in. And one thing that if we zoom into uh, a gear in a grand clock, in a grandfather clock, or even in your watch, right? The grand clock is the universal system, the common good, but every single person is a gear. And some of us are tiny cogs, and some of us are huge flywheels, and no gear is more important than the other. And we really have to get that. No gear is more important than another. No human is more important than another. They're different, we're different, and our job is not to envy the design of the larger gear or to stop spinning to see what other gears are doing. Your job is to focus on your own path, your own uniqueness. You're one of 7 billion. No one else is like you. No one has your experiences. So your job is to, like a gear, to spin smoothly and precisely at the rate that your design dictates.
Yes. And when we stop spinning to look at what someone else is doing, right? Someone else
Mhm.
has the gear is doing, or when we spin too fast out of vanity or too slow because we want to stay in comfort, we create friction and we disrupt the entire function of the grand clock, right? But fulfilling our role is the act of spinning cleanly and honestly. And this is where the Stoic duty to the common good comes in, right? The only value of the gear is in its service to the clock, right? Your only value is your service to the larger human system. So your purpose isn't internal, it's social. And when you focus on your tasks, your duties, your unique abilities, right, you're
Mhm.
inherently supporting one another.
So I want to go back to the impulse trap again, because if you let your craving for comfort stop your spin, you're being led by your lower primal nature, and your rational, CPU is the leader. It says the task is necessary for the clock. Therefore, I must spin regardless of whether I feel like it. This commitment to duty is how you become unshakable. The noise, the opinions, the distractions, they're all happening outside the clock mechanism. They can't touch you if you're focused on the precision of your own assignment. When you stay clear, grounded, and thoughtful, that's when you yourself, you'll find the fulfillment. You'll be living in your destiny.
Mm. Yeah. And the freedom that we seek is not the freedom from responsibility. It's the freedom to
Mhm.
be exactly who we are, doing exactly what we're meant to do,
Mhm.
uniquely ourselves individually, right? And we're not running solely on impulse, and not being attached to approval, right? So if indeed, you are a rational, powerful human being, in order to fulfill your role, you have to practice seeing things clearly
Mhm.
and not rushing into judgment and not falling for the hype, and instead asking, is this action serving my rational guide, or is it serving a fleeting impulse for comfort or vanity? And the purpose of clarity is to eliminate everything that is not yours to do.
Yeah. And the common good is the highest expression of your duty. And you're wired to serve one another. We're wired to serve each other in humanity, in our social grouping. And that quiet satisfaction of doing your part, of doing our part, of being a reliable gear in the clock, that is the most meaningful work there actually is. You find yourself by giving yourself. When you keep your mind steady and your heart on your duty, you build a life that's genuinely worth living. A lot of people, they go on that famous track, I want to be famous, I want to be seen, I want the applause. And they live a very empty life. And when you live on purpose, on duty, with your destiny, you live a genuine life. You live a life worth living. And that steady focus on your unique assignments is the definition of purpose in action.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Let's shift gears a little bit here and look at the brain response to duty. When you're distracted by comparison or impulse, your limbic system, the reward center, is constantly firing for quick hits of dopamine. It's a
Mhm.
temporary rush. And that's allowing impulse to run your day. It's chaotic and unsustainable.
Yeah, but when you focus on what's yours to do and commit to a demanding task, you engage the dopamine system differently. It rewards the complexion or the completion of a complex goal with a long lasting sense of satisfaction and meaning. And this is, your focus chemicals working in harmony.
Mm. Hmm. And so think of your brain like a satellite dish. When you're distracted by everyone else's opinion and impulses, your dish is constantly swiveling, right? Trying to pick up everything, every noisy signal. And that just creates overwhelming static.
Right, right. And then you're wondering, oh, why is my Starlink not getting a good reception, right? Why is my internet poor? But when you commit to your duty, your unique assignment, you're pointing your dish straight ahead to the strongest, clearest signal, which is your rational voice, and it's of your purpose. The signal is clear, the static, it's gone, and you receive the sustainable fulfillment that comes from knowing you're aligned and useful.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, something that helps me stay in alignment is my mindfulness practice. There's nothing that really works better for me than
Hmm.
having a steady practice, and I rely on that. But here's a daily practice that you can try to stay in your own lane and fulfill your purpose with the duty focus. So first, stop and reorient. Right, the instant you find yourself scrolling, comparing, procrastinating, stop. Ask the primary question: what's mine to do right now? And this disengages the impulse and re engages your rational guide. And then define the CPU command, right? Before you act, check your motivation. Is the action being guided by comfort, cravings, the lower self, or reason and duty, the higher self? And always choose the rational command, even if it feels uncomfortable.
Right. I mean, we're not saying it's easy, but with a little consistency, we get better results. And then, serve the system, the greater humanity, the gear. Frame the task as a contribution to the common good instead of I have to write this report. Try I'm serving the team by providing clarity. And this shifts the motivation from personal ego to a reminder that this is a social purpose, that we're in unity. And then execute without attachment, the unfolding. Do your part with your best effort, and then immediately let go of the need for a specific result, or especially for accolades or applause. And stay in your lane. Do your part and let the rest unfold. The truth is, your fulfillment isn't hiding, ahead of you. It's in that quiet satisfaction of doing what's right day in and day out. And, that consistency of showing up, which, the psychologist and professor Dr. Angela Duckworth, she speaks a lot about you will reach your goal with consistency. Keep showing up. And you're rational and you are a powerful being.
Yes, and we'll leave you with this bit of wisdom from our soon to be released book, A Path to Resilience: Small Steps to an Unshakable You. Don't get sidetracked by what everyone else is doing. Focus on your own path, what life asks of you, what your nature calls you to do, and serve the greater good with your best effort.
You know, you don't need saving from the world. Really get that. You save yourself by fulfilling your unique role and serving the greater good. So let your higher self lead you.
Remember this: the path to peace is found in the simple, steadfast commitment to your duty. Thanks for being here. We're walking this path right alongside you. Take care of your heart, take care of your mind, take care of yourself. And support our work by liking, following, subscribing, and sharing this with someone who needs a reminder that they're stronger than they think they are. We'll see you next time.